Right, Derek, so this is the second part before you head back to Japan today.
Right.
So I just wanted to talk a little bit about language. Obviously, you've lived in Japan for nearly 14 years and you can speak Japanese to some degree. Um, so how did you start out? You started learning Japanese in high school?
Yeah, I did Japanese from in high school the whole time. I think grade 8 to 12,
I think
from
I was
memory.
better than you at Japanese back
Probably.
then. When you were studying Japanese in school and when you were in Australia, had you learned a lot of kanji?
uh, Probably learned a couple of hundred.
Yep.
Yeah.
How many would you know now?
Uh,
Just rough guess.
well, to take the level 1 Japanese test, you need to know 2,000.
Right.
So, but in that test, I didn't need to write any kanji. I just need to recognize them.
So you did that test
Yeah.
and you passed?
Yeah.
And what is that test?
I did that in about 2006 or 2007. There was a listening, reading, and there was something else. There's another section, but
Speaking?
no, I didn't need to speak.
Right. So this is like a to assess your competency in Japanese.
Yeah, and there's 5 levels now, 5 being the lowest and 1 being the highest.
Right.
So 1 pretty much means you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
In Japanese, apart from in my case write, because I
Right.
didn't need to write for that test.
Right.
I can write a lot of stuff, but I don't practice it all anymore. So I
Right.
don't have time. There's no necessity for me to write
Right.
with the computer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not worth my time.
Now, in your everyday life, just when you're not with your family, just getting around in
Yeah.
Kobe and other parts of Japan, you can get on okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep.
No.
And do you always? You said one of the challenges was getting people to respond in Japanese. How have you managed to address that?
Well, sometimes I'll just say, "Could you please listen carefully? I'm speaking Japanese."
In Japanese.
Yes.
So what you might start speaking in Japanese and they'll respond in nothing,
Well,
because a lot of people don't speak
won't,
English.
They
There.
won't use the same language that they would use with a
You mean they make
Japanese
it more basic?
person. They don't use this honorific language, which is kind of, I think, is insulting.
So it's not when you said
And some of them will just make up stuff like
Like
or
what?
pretend they don't understand or whatever, or just they're
So
scared.
the whole thing is just too challenging.
It's just awkward
Culturally.
because they're scared that, oh, here comes another foreigner's not going to be able to talk, not going to be able to communicate. I'm nervous. What do I do? And then
So it might just be a
they don't
reaction,
listen.
a nervous reaction.
It is a
on their
nervous
part.
reaction most of the time. So I've taken the stance of calmly saying to them, please listen.
Right. Do you have friends that are Japanese that you speak with in Japanese?
No, just my wife.
Right. So you mostly speak in Japanese with her.
Yeah.
Right.
And strangers that I have to deal with
In your day-to-day
in
life.
daily life.
Yeah.
I don't have any male Japanese friends apart from, 1 or 2 teachers at school.
Yep. What are some of the things that you really like about the Japanese language or speaking Japanese?
Well, I wouldn't say there's a whole lot of stuff I like because there's so many times I find that I can't say what I think because there's just the words don't translate
Directly, it's completely different
directly.
language. Yeah.
You have to you can't be funny. You can't describe stuff. You just have to tell it how it is and not.
It's a lot more basic. So it's a stripped down version of what you want to say.
Yeah.
And is that for everyone that speaks Japanese, or for you as a
It's
speaking as
there's
a
obviously
second language?
Japanese people can be much more descriptive than me, but
Right.
if I learned a long time ago that I think I was at school one day and I wanted to say something like cricketers pay for cricketers, the sky's the limit, and I was trying to directly translate it.
Oh, right.
And this is ridiculous. And then they get paid a lot,
I do the same in Japanese. I in Spanish things are more basic.
Yeah, there's
Right.
lots of idioms in Japanese, but I don't know a whole lot of them. I know
Yeah.
a few, but
Yeah.
it's hard to throw into everyday conversation.
Yeah. Just to finish up, your eldest daughter and your second daughter both speak English fluently, but with different accents.
Yeah.
And the youngest one, who is 9, has growing up speaking English from a very young age and has an American accent.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, well, the oldest one had her for the initial part of her schooling at a Japanese school
Right.
up until grade 1.
Yeah.
So, and she got a lot more basics in Japanese than
Yeah.
the other one. And then the 9-year-old, she's been at international school since she's 3 years old.
Yeah.
So she what she speaks like.
Be interesting to
Have a
see
drink of water.
how she goes in the next 10 years, how her accent changes, because she can put on an Australian accent.
Oh, if she lives in Australia, she'll have an Australian accent.
Yeah.
The last time we were here for an extended period of time, she went back to Japan and people couldn't understand her.
It's very interesting.
We went jet skiing and they didn't have a clue what she
Right.
said.
That was good. All right. Thank you, Derek.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.